Hello everyone, this is iconoclastrises. This video is going to be quite a bit different from the scope and style of what I regularly put out. It is not going to be condescending or antagonizing or mocking of feminists or those who fight for social justice. I am going to be completely transparent, naked, and far from manipulative. This is a sort of plea to the ultra-progressive left-wing population here on YouTube. I'm going to address feminists and modern social justice advocates. I hope you analyze my position with honesty and free of bias. So the essence of my inquiries is this: why do you feel it is okay to embody that which you fight against? What I mean by that is, why is it morally just to view an entire demographic or set of demographics and generalize them in such a way as to pretend as though their hardships and setbacks do not matter? You say that white men cannot be discriminated against, and in doing so, you unleash a horde of people who may be as dismissive and condescending as they want simply because of the color of their skin or the sex or gender they are born to. You say we have privilege that grants us advantages in society, and therefore we cannot understand how difficult it is for other demographics to live their lives in the pursuit of health and happiness. When in turn, what that does is make gargantuan mobs of people decide that it is okay to discriminate against us just based upon that concept alone. Let's just say you are correct in your theories on privilege, because there is not a way to convince you otherwise. That is not the point of this video anyway. The point of this video is to point out that aside from all of that, we are still people, and labeling us as immune to being discriminated against does not eliminate the fact that the things we are told by all of you hurt deeply. You are of the mindset that just because some Caucasians are on top, that excuses the pain and misery caused to those who are not by your theory and the rhetoric of those who think like you. There are millions upon millions of hardworking, low-middle-class white men who just want to get by and support their families. The vast majority of them are not racist or sexist and do not hold any prejudiced views. But I'm getting off topic again. Let's continue to agree with you that if even most of them are not racist, they still hold racist tendencies they may not even know about. I'm going to give you that only for purpose of making my actual point. My point is, no matter how privileged someone is, or how accidentally racist they may be, that still does not change the fact that blatant racism to them is being carried out every day by hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of feminists and social justice advocates under the mere suggestion that because they hold power, they cannot be discriminated against. Human emotion and mental health is not governed by definitions. If racism equals prejudice plus power, then only the definition of racism is immune to being affected by the behavior of others, not the actual people you are attaching the definition to. When a white person is told they cannot speak on issues because of color of their skin, and that the entire population has a voice, but the white man does not because of how he was born, your definitions mean nothing. A human being has been told that his opinion is less than equal with racist superior on certain topics. It doesn't matter where this man came from, what his upbringing was, what he does for a living, how many children he has, or any other facet of the condition that makes us human. The fact of the matter is that man is a man and he is white. When a white person who has to sell his children's video games and crush them just to keep them warm, fed, clothed, and sheltered is told by a group of six-figure earning people of color that he is oppressing them and that he does not get to talk or have an equal human opinion, that is not social justice. That is social injustice. I think you know this. However, well, let's go on. You are ignoring the fact that these are people. You only see them as archetypes delivered to you by some professor who is from an era where white privilege may have truly existed, and they have failed to let that mindset change the way they change with the times. Or a professor who is a bit younger but also learned these things from an older professor from said timeline. You are okay with telling someone that custody of their children is less important than the opposite sex taking up too much room on a subway car. When people spread their legs too far on the subway, you immediately assume it is to assume the dominant role in the space they are occupying. When it is explained to you that this is due to the biological reasons they cannot control, you say they are mansplaining. There again, assuming because they are of a different gender, you deem powerful that they must be lying and making up excuses, thus judging them based on factors they were born with and cannot control. You have become what you hate. You are dismissing the person and adopting an archetype for them. I'm going to tell you something a little personal about myself that I don't tell a lot of people. I was born into poverty. When I was a child, I had no electricity, heat, or running water. My mother tried to raise my brother and I alone, and she was not right in the head. Because of this, she was a hoarder and never really cleaned or taught us to clean. My house was always filled with garbage, animal feces, and dead animals. She never allowed us to dispose of the bodies because she was too far gone to accept that they were dead. I shit you not. I had to sleep on piles of dirty clothes and garbage that served as bedding, and alongside the corpses of my best friends, my pets. We had to steal our food and lie constantly to people about our state of living. I never had a single friend at school until about 8th grade, when I made my best friend I've ever had and one other buddy who was my second best friend. They are still my best friends. The entire school hated me, and I would be teased, mocked, and beat up every second of every day. I would be followed home with the same treatment, which was about 5 miles every day on foot, because, well, anyway, I was attempted murdered more than once, and I was known as the disgusting kid on campus. This continued into high school, and all in all, my 6 years of middle school and high school was a time of trauma. Because of this, I never developed mentally, emotionally, or socially like other normal kids. You can forget about a girlfriend during those years. At home, my brother was a drug addict and my mom, again, batshit insane. They would fight every night, and when I say fight, I mean fucking throw down. Knives, stun guns, 2x4s, throwing each other out of second-story windows, and putting each other in the hospital regularly. This was an ongoing dynamic from the time I can remember being cognitive until the age of 18 when I joined the army and got the fuck out. From my earliest years, I already knew words and phrases such as whore, slut, cunt, bastard, kill you, fuck you up, should have had you aborted, I'm going to kill you in your sleep, I'm going to drown you, and so on. My first bed was a shoebox, and my first actual bed was a bunk in the army. I have a very spotty knowledge base and education because of this, but I am still smart, thank God. I was, at the very least, blessed with intellect. After a mere 5 months of being in the service, I was boots on the ground in Kuwait. After training, on the ground training, I was conducting combat patrols throughout some very hot areas in Iraq. My best friend in the military died while we were on patrol. It was not a quick death. People do not get blown up and die automatically like you see in the movies. His insides were cooked instantly from the shrapnel of the roadside bomb, yet he remained alive for long moments and had to die in a horrible, agonizing death. Also, shrapnel is usually pretty large, not tiny pieces of metal usually, that of a lot of people think when they hear the word shrapnel. We had others die, but one of the few people who ever considered me equal and treated me like one of the regular guys died before my very eyes. I can't really explain to you what that means. If I hadn't switched Humvees with him that day before we went out on patrol, we would have switched places among the living and the dead. He had a lot more going for him, so I kind of wish that we had switched places. I have to live with this every day. That regret of not keeping my mouth shut about how I found the cargo strap of my original truck to be less comfortable than the one he was originally supposed to ride in, that will forever haunt me. I now have a difficult time holding a job, and I'm plagued by depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Regular sleep is a distant memory, all due to the military and my life beforehand. I don't think like a normal person, and I don't respond to things like a normal person. However, I have a very keen understanding of what is logical and illogical. I know what is right, and what is being rearranged in order to try and make it morally superior. So after hearing all of that, please tell me about my privilege. Please tell me about how middle-class black kids and spoiled middle-class girls in their cushy dorm rooms fully funded by their parents are so much more oppressed than me. Please tell me about how when I approach a woman and don't meet her qualifications, she can say hellish, abominable things to her friends right in front of me or behind my back, and everyone around her, friends or no friends, will laugh and agree. But if I tried that, I would be looked down upon with disdain, even by my friends. Tell me how I am being an oppressor. Tell me about having the word nigger to be used in this historical context and it triggering students to where they have to run to their nearest safe space to play with bubbles, coloring pictures, and watch videos of puppies in oppression comparison to being told I cannot have access to a shelter when my girlfriend decides to attack me with a hammer in my sleep. Please justify how I am less oppressed than those described here. Now, why am I telling you all of this? To earn your sympathy? No. I have survived many hells and sympathy is something I no longer require. I'm evolved past that point. I'm telling you all of this to illustrate that we are not archetypes in some college textbook. It doesn't matter what you believe about whether we are oppressing you or not. When it comes down to it, we are people. We have feelings and concerns and fears. We are told that anyone can insult or hurt us and that it doesn't matter because we are supposedly in power. That because we sit at the top of your oppression pyramid according to you and strips us of our humanity, and we are the most expendable in your eyes. I'm telling you this because what you are doing hurts. I have really thick skin. What one can only take so much. Every time I hear that I am white so I cannot be discriminated against, I hear that I'm white so I am less than human, because your humanity excludes us. Humans are supposed to be treated with dignity and respect, and saying that we can be told and accused of anything and everything is okay because we are outside of your circle of accepted peoples is saying we are outside of your acknowledged species. I will leave you with this. There are two types of people. There are those who understand the Nazi Party and, excluding the Gestapo, the German army were totally different groups of people in certain ways. And there are those who do not realize that. Which of these two groups do you belong to? Thank you, everyone. Remember to like, share, subscribe. This is Iconoclastrises, and have a wonderful evening.
You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. The important thing is that you choose life, and then live